Hello folks, welcome to the kitchen. Today I'm going to make stuffed acorn squash. The stuffing is going to be taco seasoned meat. In this case we're doing our ground turkey, although I do have the beef lovers, which is very nice. And then me and the husband do them differently. He adds some black olives, which are disgusting, and salsa, which I've never gotten into. We both add cheese, duh. You can't have taco anything without cheese. And then I add sour cream, and it works out so that we can each have our own taste that we like, but it's one thing for me to cook. I am going to show you the acorn squash. We're gonna get it prepared. We're gonna get it in the oven. Then I'm gonna do the meat mix with the taco seasoning. I'm gonna put the recipe for the taco seasoning down in the description, but if you've got a favorite, if you've got packets of Ortega or Old El Paso or Food Lion brand or whatever, you can use that. It's not gonna matter, okay? The main thing is getting this all together, having a relatively easy meal that's tasty. Let's get you turned around. Let's take a look at the acorn squash, which I'm gonna do right down in front of you. Flip you down, and we will get this all started. So, dramatic effect, acorn squash. They are the funky, acorny, obviously, shaped squash. Usually green, sometimes got the orangey on it. Not a big deal. I think they're sometimes in brown too. I don't remember for sure. These are acorn squash. Now, we had one big one, one little one. Hubby does pretty good at getting them half and half. He cuts them because me and sharp things do not get along. Even with my cut-resistant gloves, they're not really good when you're hitting it a knife with a mallet. Kitchen mallet. Yes, really. So he takes care of that. He gets all the seeds out of it for me, and after that it's my job. So let's start with our cooking fork. Hi, cooking fork. What I want to do is I want to get the inside of this a little bit poked. Nothing too huge, but just a little bit to kind of get some of that stuff down in there. We are going to put olive oil in here, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and that's it. These are going to just get most of their flavor once we put the stuff in them. Now, the inspiration that I got this from called for Italian, and I have done it with Italian. Basil, oregano, rosemary, even just the Italian seasonings, that's fine. But sometimes you don't want Italian. Sometimes you want taco. It's Monday. Maybe I'll upload this on a Tuesday, so it's actually Taco Tuesday. Why not? So, olive oil. I got a fancy new little olive oil thingy because I'm sick of getting it all over my hands. So what I want to do is I'm going to do one at a time. And the reason for this is if you do them all at once, by the time you get back to wipe it everywhere, it's all sucked in there. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit over the top. It's sort of like this, but the new thing. It drizzles easier. I'm going to take my brush, get it all over there on the tops. And these are going to be cooked face down. So some of it's going to come out, but believe it or not as much. And when you do it slowly, it gets soaked down into there. I'll show you as we do the rest of them. Oil, spread, oil, spread. So our last one, I'm gonna get, again, wiped around. There we go. Now, if you look, it's a little bit on top, but you can see that this is not matte, but this is really shiny inside. This is not so shiny inside. It's because it's all getting soaked down in there, which is what we want. This will make sure that it isn't just pouring out once we put it down. Okay, let's get some pepper on here. You know, there's nothing like recording yourself to find out how much you say a certain thing. For me, apparently it is all right now, or all right so. I don't and I all right so. Let's get some pepper around in here. And as usual, I don't do a whole lot of salt, but I'm gonna put a little bit in. There is some salt in the seasoning, but not much. Why am I making that noise? So now we flip them over. They're flipped over. They're gonna go in the oven, 375 for 30 minutes. About. What we will do is we will take a cooking fork and about 20 minutes, I'll set the timer for, and we're gonna poke. We're gonna poke right in here, and you can see I'm getting nowhere because they're hard. So we'll check it in about 20 minutes. We'll see if they're a little bit, if I can poke through it, then I'll flip one over and I'll look at it and squish it and go from there. Now this goes in the middle rack in your oven. Let's take a look at our acorn squash. Sizzly. We've got, you can see, it'll go in there, but it still is stiff. Yeah, we've probably got at least another, shut up. We got at least another 10 minutes. Because we've got a little bit of give, oh yeah. You can see that it does take some pressure to go in there. These are gonna be another 10 at least. Let's let that be another 10, and then we'll try again. Let's take a look at these again. We are now at 30 minutes total. We checked them at 20. Aha! See? See how it's just much easier it goes in there? Okay. Now we will flip them over. Yes, and again, goes in very nicely. Let's leave these back over, pop them back in. And we're just gonna let them cook a little longer while we make taco meat. I tell you, this is my life with cats, seasoned for beef lovers. This isn't really necessary when it comes to the taco, but it doesn't hurt. Stop. Oop. That's not edible. If you've made tacos from a box, it tells you to brown the meat, add water, and add the seasoning. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna get this a little bit apart. Hey, turkey always looks, actually turkey looks better on camera than it does in person. Enjoy, you've got a better view. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smish it. We're not on yet. Taco. See, my fancy new containers. This is what I have used for years and years and years. Every once in a while I will use whatever's in the box because we'll get these hard and soft mixes which also sometimes have the seasoning. But this is what I normally use. 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 or 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon each, cumin, garlic, paprika, powdered oregano, and sugar. And then half a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, that's kind of just a base for things. I don't exactly use that. And it says, mix 3 tablespoons of seasoning mix, which is equal in strength to a 1/4 ounce package of commercial seasoning mix. Which means, if you like it stronger, add more. If you like it weaker, add less. If you're me, toss in whatever you want. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put some in here. I'm gonna mix it together. Then we're gonna turn it on. Then we're gonna cook it. Then we're gonna add some more. The nice thing about this is it gets it into the meat proper instead of just being on the meat. And you add the water, which gets it in there as well. I just prefer to have a little bit cooking in the meat. Isn't that tasty looking? Go ahead and turn our stove on. Remember, is the stove the top? Yes, stove top. I made a joke. So we mix this all together. Oh, hey, I amused myself. Might as well. And we're going to flatten it out, and we're going to let it cook that way. When it comes to any kind of meat that, to me, I'm going to mix into somewhere, whether it be this, whether it be Italian sausage, which goes into spaghetti. I am making a mess. Yes. Whether it be, it does not want to mix. Whether it be this, you know, going into tacos, going into acorn squash, whatever. What I always do is I cook it some and then I make it smaller pieces. Potato masher. You can buy a fancy little thing to mix everything up, or you can buy a $1, $2, $3 potato masher. I do wish I had gotten the bigger one. I used to use a mixer for my potatoes, and then we mashed them with one of these, and it tasted pretty good. So now I use that. I thought a small one would be better. I wish I'd gotten the bigger one. Oftentimes I prefer the smaller bits. This time, bigger. Let's flip this over. Let it get good and cooked. As it gets a little more cooked, we will do all the mashing, make sure everything gets broken up. Makes it a little easier to get inside of your taco shells, your tortilla shells, your acorn squash. But we've got to get there first. You will see all the liquid come out of the turkey. Of course, it's turkey, just like chicken, just like anything else that's got moisture. Do not drain this. It will suck back into the turkey. It is mostly just water, I believe. I mean, it's not real oily. You can see it's got some oil to it, but it's not like hamburger grease. So we want to leave that to suck back in. It'll suck back in and then it'll start to brown up more. So let's go ahead and let it get there. I've decided to add in black beans. I'm not going to do a whole can, half a can. Duh. What I am going to do is I'm going to save the other half for black bean hummus. We are out of hummus, and I have been wanting to make black bean hummus. So I'm going to take about half, and we will use that for some black bean hummus. Let's turn this on, let that stir. Yep, we're good here. You can see all that water is gone. Sucked right back up into our turkey, which is what we want. We are going to add water as well because it does make the spices go in there better. Now obviously, if you like bigger chunks, don't do this. I like them nice. I like the little crumb-like bits. Usually for spaghetti, I won't do this. If I'm doing like a meat sauce, I let it just go normal. There. But for something like this, it works out really well. We're going to get some water. I'm going to about half to 3/4 of a cup. That way I just have it. Okay, nope, maybe more like a cup. We're going to pour some in there. This way we're not browning it too much at the bottom. Let's get some water in there. We're going to add taco seasoning. No, I don't measure. That is probably about a tablespoon. And when I make the seasoning itself, obviously I put it all in my little container doohickey. Usually use more cumin than it calls for. Just the cumin is what makes, to me, the taco. Let's add a little bit more. And again, we're smelling it as it comes up. Add some more water. Now the water will help it get into the meat as well. We get kind of a double. You're getting it into the meat from before it started cooking, and now we're putting more of it in once it's done cooking. Black beans are starting to bubble a little, so we're gonna go ahead and give them a stir. Yes, a little ambidextrous. We want to take this down to medium-low-ish. I'm gonna mash it down so that it's all in the water. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more water too. And just like everything else, I tell you, give it a smell. Does it smell strong? Does it smell weak? Does it smell right? It smells weak. Don't always live by measurements. You'll find, how many times have you used one of the taco packets and went, oh, that's kind of bland, or oh my God, that's too hot. Know how things work. And of course, you can always taste it too. There is nothing wrong with tasting it, should you decide to taste it. Just be careful, because it's always hot. Yep, still a little weak. I do not put any, I'm gonna have to make a new thing of taco seasoning. Maybe I'll make that afterwards and tack that on in there. I don't put any type of anything in the beans. They go plain. Figure there's enough flavor everywhere else. We don't need to worry about flavoring the beans too. That down there. Give our beans another. All right. Fork. Quit playing with the spoon. It's beans. This is not that hard. Beans, liquid, burner. On. Usually start it on medium high. Let it get a good bowl going. And bring it down to medium low-ish. Probably about the same this is. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a lid on there so it's not doing all of that escaping. Oh, you know what? I actually have a lid that fits that one properly. Yes, really. It doesn't happen a lot in this house. Mostly because I can't keep from destroying my frying pans. If anybody knows a frying pan that'll last through abuse, please let me know. Now I'm excited to make black bean hummus. What do we got here? It's smelling good. You know what? Needs more cumin. The mix is usually okay, but the nice thing about knowing what your mix is, and knowing what you're smelling, and knowing your herbs and your spices is when you go, something's just not right. What does it need? Cumin. Ooh, yeah, no, that's better. It's just one of those things you decide, well, I'm feeling a little bit more cumin in today, or I'm feeling a little bit more chili powdery today, or maybe some extra garlic. Yeah, that is where it needed to be. Aha, we solved the riddle. Alrighty, there we go. And we are pretty much set. I'm gonna get things moved so that you can watch us put our respective acorn squash together. You can see how he does his, see how I do mine, and you can tell me which one you like better. Or maybe you would rather have all of it together. This is where we're at. Squash is gonna come out, and we are ready to eat. And there we go.
What it should look like.
What it should look like. So,
yours is just wrong.
Alrighty. There is your plating. Enjoy. We're gonna eat this.